Okay, now extract 3. When you see this box here, you know immediately it's going to be about chords. Remember level 1, they give you 4 types of chords. Chord 1, that's a 4, a 5, and 6. They're very kind enough to give you C, the key of C major. So they do say it's for a C major. We'll read the instructions but they also, you now have 2 minutes to read. So what you could do with the 2 minutes, and you know it's going to be a chord question, so C, F, G, A minor, and in the key of C major, you can quickly do a chord chart like this. C major, C, E, G. How do you know? Well, remember the chord. You can draw the keyboard. Okay. Read a C major. If you know your major scales, it's going to be very easy. Okay. So C major, C, E, G. So this is every other note on the keyboard. C, E, G. F major, what's that one? I'll just color code these. F, A, C. So that's going to be G major. Let's change the color. G, B, what's that one? D. G, B, D. And A minor. I think we'll do, it's a nice color, green. A minor starts on A, C, and we have E. So A, C, E. You might ask why. I'll get to that. You've got 2 sections in this question, 1 to 10. Section B, 11 to 18. Now the key information you need, it's going to be on a solo trombone, accompanied by a brass ensemble. So you don't have a piano backing, or it's not going to be a rock music where you have guitar, bass, and drums. It's going to be brass ensemble, which means you've got trumpets and you've got tuba. Yeah, tuba is going to give you the bass notes. Okay, so this might be quite tricky. Now, we expect trombone to be in a bass clef, so we're now going to be thinking, right, bass clef. Remember your notes in bass clef? All cows eat grass. And it's going to be green, bus, drives fast always. Not that this is going to matter too much, but it could. Okay, now, another part to this question, you have to identify the cadences. Now, cadences are 2 points, 2 chords that are at the end of a phrase or musical phrase. And you've got 3 cadences to identify, and they're either perfect, plagal, imperfect, or interrupted. If we just do a quick review of the cadences, perfect will go from 5 to 1, chord 5 to 1. In this case, our chord 5 is G. So if you hear a G chord going to the C chord, you're going to hear a perfect cadence. Now you can work this out after you work out the chords. Now, perfect cadence will sound finished. So you have a satisfactory ending. So this cadence will be used at the end of a song. End of a song. It's satisfying. Another chord from 4 to 1. So always when you finish with a 1, now chord 4 is F. So if we have an F chord going to chord C, you're going to get what's called a plagal cadence. Okay, this is sometimes called the Amen cadence. Comes at the end of a hymn. The other side, so these two, perfect and plagal cadences, sound complete, finished, because we end with chord 1, or the key chord. So this is only true when you're in the key of C major, right? So if you're in the key of G major, G is going to be a chord 1, so it's all different. So that little box will tell you what to use. Okay. The other one is when you have chord 5 that goes to chord 6. Now that's an unexpected sort of ending. So this will not finish. So it sounds unfinished or unsatisfied. Now we expect 5 to go to 1, but it goes to a minor chord there. So our chord 6 was A minor, right? So we could go from G chord, goes to A minor. We're going to get what's called an interrupted cadence. In America, they call this a deceptive cadence. It deceives your ears. Deceptive cadence. The last one is going to be the one that goes from 1 to a 5. So if you finish on a 5, in the key of C major, which is G, and let's say C, it will sound, well, that's the opposite of perfect, isn't it? So it's the 1 to 5 rather than 5 to 1. So these are sort of opposite of each other, so we call this an imperfect cadence. Okay, so we'll work this out. You need to actually hear them. And we could do this in class. Now, so that's all you have to do. Well, let's see the whole extract. Now we'll play. Okay. We're up to extract 3.
Extract 3. You now have 2 minutes to read the information below.
Okay, so for that 2 minutes, we've sort of filled in the information here. Now you have to decide whether to use just the Roman numerals or jazz rock chords. You cannot mix them up. You can't use one for the first box and the second you use the other. Okay. So here's our cadence 1. Cadence 2 chords. There's cadence 2, pair of chords, and cadence 3. Now what you could do with a pencil, this is kind of cheeky. Remember this chord chart here? You should actually have this chord chart drawn. C, F, G, A minor, right? C, F, G, A minor. Copy it. I think I might use that, but if I want to use Roman numerals, it's 1, 4, 5, and 6. So I've just copied that box here so I can see it straight onto this page. Now remember the spelling of this chord, C-E-G, F-A-C, G-B-D, A-C-E. Notice how when you have the C here, it matches up to the chord. It's because when you have chords, the bass line will give you the root note of that chord. So in the key of, well, the C chord, naturally you're going to have C, E, G, and the bass, the most lowest note, is going to give you the harmony. So that F also gives you F. So if you're really stuck and really don't know what to put, For example, you've got an E here, you've got another E here, and you can't hear the chords. You can make an educated guess. You've got an E in the A minor, you've got an E in 1. So what's going to give away that A minor is if this E, the chord containing this E here, is in a minor. So it sounds like a minor chord, right? We're going to put A minor or 6 instead of whatever else. So also that's good in E. If that chord sounds like a major, I think most likely it's going to be C. Right? So with a pencil, you could kind of pencil these in. Okay, now let's try to make an educated guess with this one. So that's an F, right? Right? There's no shame in writing this out. All cows eat grass. G, B, D, F, A. If you forget, that's an F line, right? So if I continue this green line, oh, that note is an F. Therefore, that chord all by itself has a box above it. That's going to be, I think, an F. So I could safely go, well, that's my chord 4. If you're not doing Roman numerals, you're going to put the chord F in it with a pencil, right? I can't guarantee, but that looks pretty good. Now that's got an E all by itself. Now, again, we're not quite sure whether it's going to be a C chord or an A minor. So this is either C or A minor. Or you could say chord 1 or chord 6. That G seems very obvious. That sounds like a 4 G chord or G. There's nothing else with the G in it. Oh, except for that C chord, eh? But it's a cadence, so remember that 1, 2, 5? That could work, but I'm not sure whether that's going from a chord 5. So that's an A. That's a G. So we'll see whether that one sounds like a G or... So at the start, you're going to be given the C chord, and you've got another C chord. And this is where you reference your chords. You're going to hear some examples of chords, so you lock it in to either C. I think you need to lock into chord 1. And you have to decide what happens here. Right? Now the ending, we're not quite sure how it's going to end, but it's got a D. I suspect that one. Yeah? So it looks like the ending is not going to be on a chord 1, but maybe chord 5. This could be a prime example of a, well, that's not a cadence. They're asking for cadence here. Okay. Anyway, that's one of the strategies you can employ if you're just guessing or, winging it. Okay? So now our prep is done. There's one other important aspect of this. It's the timing of this. We're going to cover 6/8 time in our revision. Notice how this is not crotchet equals 74, but a dotted crotchet equals 74. Now, dotted crotchet is a dot here is worth extra half beat of whatever is in front of it. So that's a 1 beat plus half, so 1.5. So if we had to draw the number of quavers that can fit, 3 quavers fit into a dotted crotchet. What that means is this. A beat with a dotted crotchet is 3 quavers. Now in 6/8, we have 6 of them in one bar. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. And if it's 74, one of that is 74. So 3 lots of 74 in 1 minute. So we're going, it's not slow. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is in 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that dotted crotch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're counting 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So this can be quite deceptive. Okay, so make sure when you're counting 6/8 time, we're counting 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So you're gonna come in with the GAB as sort of a what we call a pickup bar. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and it's gonna start there kind. C F E D E D C. So counting is going to be quite tricky. Well, let's have a listen. So the first thing we're gonna do is I should have just written in all my notes there. That's a G. Don't really worry about these two. Okay, the one that you should worry about are the ones that fall on the beat. The strong beats usually tell you the chords. Okay, these extra ones are what we call passing notes, and sometimes they don't belong to a harmony. Okay, so again, that A, C. Wow. Okay, this chord has an A and a C in it, so that tells me it's most likely that one. And actually, not that helpful. F major or A minor. So at least we've got a choice of, is it a major, epiphase, or a minor? So if you take that one, it's going to be A minor, going to most likely G, but we'll find out. Okay, so that's a B, chord with a B in it. That entire bar is going to be the same chord. So when you have two notes, it's very helpful. See, it's an F, that's a passing note, and that's a D. So this chord has a D and an F in it. It's given you D minor because we don't do chord 2. Look at this, A minor, that's a passing note. So these longer notes are the harmony notes. Okay, that creates the chords. Okay. Well, let's have a listen. It's a long preamble.
Extract 3. You now have 2 minutes to read the information below.
Okay, we've read it. First playing.
You will hear an extract in the key of C major for a solo trombone, accompanied by brass ensemble. The music is printed on page 7. The whole extract will now be played once. Follow the score as the music plays.
Okay.
A dotted crotchet beat pulse will be heard before the extract starts.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay. That's the whole extract.